Okay, Shalom Aleichem everybody. We are up to Daf Vav, and we start from the top line, Rav Shishi Breder of Idi Omar. Now, just a little bit of an introduction that we're in the middle of dealing with Treifa. How do we know that Treifa is Pasal Carbon? And we have a pasuk of Min Abakar Lo Hoitis a Treifa. But the Gemara wants to know, why do we need a pasuk Bachlal? Have a Kavachayim from Balmum. A Balmum is Asr Lehedyet, is Mutter Lehedyet, and it's Asr Legavoya. Kavachayim Treifa, which is Asr Lehedyet, Kavachayim should be Asr Legavoya. Gemara doesn't like that we need a pasuk to Hoitis a Treifa from Karbanas. I have a Kavachayim from Balmum. So, the Gemara said that really we have a pircha on this Kavachayim. And the Gemara doesn't know what the pircha is. We're trying to figure out what the pircha to the Kavachayim is. It's a Kavachayim sheyeshel of tshuva, and we don't know. The Gemara made already 4 attempts at this point to try to figure out the pircha, and each attempt was rejected. Now Rav Shishi Bereidu of Idi Omar comes the 5th attempt. Why the Kavachayim is no good, and we need a pasuk. What does he say? He says you have a tzad hashava. What's tzad hashava? Between chaylev and dam and malika. Okay, so chaylev and dam and malika are all asr lehedyet and mutter legavoya. Right? So we're saying treifa, which is asr lehedyet, should be mutter legavoya as well, and that's why I need a pasuk. So you have a tzad hashava. Right? That's why there's a pirch in the Kavachayim, because you see chaylev and dam and malika. Yeah, which is asr lehedyet, still mutter legavoya. So treifa could be asr lehedyet, right? Even though it's asr lehedyet, not like a balmum, and still mutter legavoya. And that's why I need a pasuk to asr it. So what's the tzad hashava? Let's see. Mala malika sheken kedusha asr sarta. If you're going to tell me no, malika is different because the kedusha asrs it. Chaylev and dam yachichu. Chaylev and dam, right, are not nesr lehedyet because of the kedusha, right? And still they're mutter legavoya. And mala chaylev dam sheken ba mechlal heter. And if you're going to tell me, no, chaylev and dam have a maila, you know why they're mutter legavoya? Because it comes mechlal heter, it comes from a behemoth that's mutter. So malika tachiach, malika, the whole behemoth is aser, the whole oif is aser, and still it's mutter legavoya. V'chaz radin lo rizek rizeh, v'lo rizek rizeh, atzar hashava sheben shem asur lehedyet v'torn legavoya. Often you have a treifa, alp shisur lehedyet temeteres legavoya. So I have a tzad hashava to prove to you that although it's aser lehedyet, it's mutter legavoya. So treifa also, and that's why I need a pasuk when I buckle my treifa. I get the vachreb shol. Wow. Eze. Why? Chizuk nifla. Ma ze stam chizuk? Yeah. Remember the first shiur, the first couple of shiurim, Yonatan came. He put down a recording device. Hergashti kmo $1 million, $1 million. I was like, wow.
I think he brought you the idea to record things, no?
Yes. It was his idea. And then he started yeshiva. He got busy with the Masechtas in yeshiva. You know, the way he's supposed to. And then that's it. So you have a midwinter break now. And he's back. Look at that. Tireh mashe. Why? Okay, batzlocha. Wow, very nice. Okay. B'Daf Vav. Yeah. We're gonna be by the Mishnah momentarily. So we're starting a new sugya. What? Because you're always ahead. Reb Shol, you're always ahead of the game. You're always ahead. Always ahead. That's right. Yeah, Menachos, right here. You like the Hebrew or the English? You like the regular? That's it. Yeah, there's a small one, a regular also. No, right there. The brown one, right there. Yeah, Menachos. Shama, no? Menachos is right there. See that one? Yes. Zvachim and Menachos. Yeah. What's it? We missed you by the Siyum today. Your father made a Siyum on Zvachim today.
I was sick.
Oh, you were sick. Okay, we said it.
I was recovering.
Wow. You'll never believe what we're learning about. We're learning about, have you ever seen an animal that's a treifa? Your father says he can shecht. Right? Yeah, you could shecht an animal, right? You know how to shecht, Reb Shol? He shechts the tziyonim all the time. Maybe you could shecht an animal too.
The women used to shecht the chickens in the backyard.
The women used to shecht it. They used to do malicha, all of it.
Yeah, but just the chickens.
Aha, murderdik.
My friend told me that, my Persian friend told me that all the grandmothers, all the great grandmothers, everyone, they always used to shecht.
They used to do it. They used to shecht.
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah, skin it and everything. You know, David is a sheikh. David Kastenbaum.
For chickens.
Only for chickens, yeah?
No, he went to a special camp, a Yoredea camp.
איפה שמעתי זה? יש מצבה, איפה המצבה? Right outside Vienna. There's a matzeva of a fish. A fish. And on the matzeva, allegedly, I haven't seen it, it says, Kan nitman hadog shetzoek shema Yisrael. Yeah, this is the story. You know, tzaddikim are megulgolan and fish, we know. It's a cemetery outside Vienna, but when they search the cemetery, this is what happens to stories. They found a matzeva that has a picture, a shape. The whole matzeva, the stone, is the shape of a fish. Avelo katuv shama, doesn't say kan toman adog kan nitman adog shetzok shema Yisrael. So I guess, you know, this is how rumors start. Something fishy about that. My kids would say that's a grandfather joke. מה זה? Hasidic Masas, huh? What happened? A Maisa recently, right? Maybe a decade ago or 2 decades ago. Disproven. Yeah, a Dibik went in. Okay. Ma yesh lasot. You know what they say about Hasidic Maisas? If you believe all of them, you're a shaita. If you don't believe any of them, you're not Pikairos. You have to believe that whatever story you hear, Melava Malka, it could have happened. It could be true. Okay. Anyway, we're talking about a treifa. A treifa is pasuk a carbon. It's a pasuk when abakar lahoitzis a treifa. Gemara says, why I need a pasuk? You have a kavachaymer from Balmum. Madcha Balmum that's mutter lehedyet. If you shech the behemoth that's a Balmum, you're allowed to eat it, but it's aser legavaya. So kolshken treifa that's aser lehedyet, it should be aser legavaya. Gemara says there's a pircha from Atzara Shava, Chelav and Dama Malika. The Gemara doesn't like it. Mal Atzara Shava Sheven Shekim Mitzvasa Bekach. Yeah, it's not a good pircha because that's Mitzvasa Bekach, Chelav and Dama Malika. This is how the Torah wants you to be makter it, and therefore there's no other way to do it. Masha'enken a carbon, you don't have to bring a treifa. You can bring a kosher behema. So that's why it's not a good pircha. Elam Ravashi. Ravashi says, I'll tell you what the pircha and the kavachaymer is, which is why we need a pasuk. Elam Ravashi. You have Elam Ravashi. Elam Ravashi is, first line of the word is Amar, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13 lines. Elam Ravashi, Mishim, the ikla me'ikra the dina pircha. The whole kal v'chaymer is from a balmum. What's the kal v'chaymer? Madchal balmum, which is mutter lehedyet, and yet it's asur legavoya. Kol sheken treifa, which is asur lehedyet, it's asur legavoya. I don't need a pasuk. I have a kal v'chaymer from balmum. Says the Gemara, it's not a good kal v'chaymer. You know why? Because me'ikr the pircha me'echkem ha'islam balmum. Mal balmum sheken asur b'makriven kikreven. Balmum is not a kula. It's a chumrah. Kal v'chaymer means you're learning the chaymer from the kal. Kal is mum because it's mutter lehedyet. Treifa is chaymer because it's asur lehedyet. So if mutter lehedyet b'balmum is asur legavoya, kal v'chaymer treifa, which is asur lehedyet, is asur legavoya. Gemara says no. Balmum has a chumrah the treifa doesn't have. You know what it is? She can also by makrivin kikreven, which means that a kohen who's a balmum, he's the makriv, he's pasul avoida. A behemoth that's a balmum is also pasul a carbon. Mashenk, a kohen treifa is allowed to do the avoida or not? A kohen who's a treifa, he can't live for the next 12 years.
He could.
He could do the avoida, exactly.
It's only balmum can't.
Correct. So a kohen that's a treifa is allowed to do the avoida, which means there's a kula by treifa. A kohen that's a balmum is not allowed to do the avoida, which is?
But if a mum could be a small something like this,
Yeah.
that it doesn't.
Something like this. What do you mean? Like your finger?
Yeah, my finger.
Yeah.
It's
Come over here a second. Let's show it over here, the camera. There are 3 people watching the shiur every day. Let's show to these 3 people. Yonatan, take a look at his finger.
So
Hey, tapam kaze? Wow.
What's the point?
What's
What's the point?
Is you born like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
My grandfather also has it.
You're joking. You're named after your grandfather?
No.
no, you're not a coin though.
But you were born with it.
I'm saying a mum, even a
Yeah.
coin has something like this doesn't affect his life at all.
what do you
He said
think?
he cannot be.
You
Cannot
can't,
Even
this
if
is
you
not
have
really
that.
You can't be
a
good
treifa is not going to live another day, let's
Another
say.
12 months. 12 months.
12 months is
12 months.
the thing.
It affects his life. He's working on his mikdash.
Yes. Yeah, Kohen Treif can do the avodah. Interesting, right? Yeah, it's kosher avodah.
See that trade from mum.
It's a Mishnah Masechta B'chayros Daf Yomi Beis. Elu ksherim ba'odam b'psulim b'behema. Oisu es benoi utreifa v'yoytze doifen. So treifa, a kohen treifa, even though a carbon treifa is puzzle, but a kohen treifa is mutter to do the avodah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. You're asking good, because a balmum, just this little thing is already puzzle. A treifa, which his whole life is, he's going to die.
So that's
Yeah, כן, זה קושיה טובה.
emphasizes
עכשיו אתה צריך לחפש תירוץ. Yeah.
that emphasizes the point that trade from mum are not based on the severity of the physical defect.
Yes, yes.
Based on specific halachic criteria.
Yes, it's a specific halachic criteria. Maybe, I'm just thinking of a teretz. I don't know if Jonathan is going to like this. It's a little bit Hasidish. But a balmum, yesh lo mum achshav. He has right now a mum. A treifa, what's a treifa? Tomorrow you're going to die, the next day. Asur l'tyayesh. Why, you're gonna say because tomorrow a tragedy is going to happen? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a kol yachol. He's a, we don't
Think about tomorrow.
We don't allow doctors to decide our fate. Yeah?
But a treifa,
By carbon.
the fact of being a treifa,
Yeah.
Mimela isn't the mum.
But what makes a person a treifa?
The trade is
The projection that tomorrow he's not going to make it. No? It's that you have something now which is not going to allow you to live tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just making this up. I have no idea.
But it's 100%.
spiritual.
That what?
They give the list of the different
By behema.
by behema.
Yeah.
So by
So behema doesn't have hashgacha pratis. A person has hashgacha pratis.
But one of the things they bring down is if it interrupts his ability to deducha.
Aha.
The person will be interrupted. He has a still finger that may
Aha.
would not be good for duchaling,
Interesting.
and that interferes. So
With-
if his hands are painted, for example.
Well, he can't do the duchening because that's part of an avodah. It's called avodah.
That's yes. So person may
Right.
disrupt the ability to receive the brachas.
Right, right. Okay, beautiful. Terech shu Allah right away comes in here and makes a roshim. Okay. Amalei Rav Achas Savel Rav Ashi. Rav Achas Savel Rav Ashi says like this. It's not a good pircha. Why? Because yoytze doifen yechiach. What's a yoytze doifen? Yoytze doifen is a behema. What? Caesarean section. Yes. So what happens with a yoytze doifen? Sheloi osaboy makriven kekreven. In other words, a kohen that's born from a Caesarean section, he's allowed to do the avodah. He's not puzzle. Mashenkin a behema that's born as a yoytze doifen is puzzle akravam. So lo yosaboy makriven kekreven umutter lehedyet va'osur legavaya. A carbon, a behema that's a yoytze doifen. If you shechter, you're allowed to eat it. Chulin, no issue. But it's mutter lehedyet and it's osur legavaya. So you can use Yetzer Doifen as a source for the Kavachaymer to Treifa. And you could say like this, Madach Yetzer Doifen, which is mutter lehedyet, a behema. If a guy wants to shechter and eat it, no problem. Yetzer mutter lehedyet, and yet it's osur legavaya, you can't bring it as a carbon. Kavachaymer Treifa, which is osur lehedyet, it should certainly be osur lekarbon. So again, I don't need a pasuk for Lahotzi has Treifa. I have a Kavachaymer from Yetzer Doifen. Normally Yetzer Doifen can in a Kaddish b'Bechayra. No. Yoytze Doifen has a chumrah, yeah, which is what's the chumrah? It doesn't have kedushas and bechar, right? If you have a Yoytze Doifen, it has to be rechem. It has to be coming from the womb. Peter rechem, yeah. Mashenken treifa is ruuya liskadish kedushas and bechar. You could have a treif that's bechar. So that's why you can't learn treifa from Yoytze Doifen. So what is Balmum Yechiach? But Balmum can prove to you that a Balmum has Kedushas Bechar. Yeah, and still it's possible a carbon. So where's the Mala Balmum Shkein also Bakrim Kekreven? Yotze Doifen Yechiach. Chazar Adin. Lo Rizak Rizah, Lo Rizak Rizah. Hatzara Shavash, man. You take both, combine it. She Mutarm Lehedi Masur Lagavaya. Balmum is Mutar Lehedi also Lagavaya. Yotze Doifen is Mutar Lehedi and also Lagavaya. Kosh can Trefish Yasur Lehedi Shtesur Lagavaya. The Gemara says no, still no. Mala tzara shava sheben. You know why the tzara shava of Yoytze Doifen and Balmum? is asr legavoya, even though it's mutter lehadyet, shekein loy hutru michlalan, because we don't find any scenario where it's mutter. This isser of akrova is mutter. Taimar betreifa shehutra michlala. Okay, by treifa it's hutra michlala. So now, okay, where by treifa? Which case in a treifa are you allowed to bring a carbon? Is there like a riddle, right? I was thinking of another riddle, by the way. I think I said it over on Thursday night's shiur. I was going to ask it at my Shabbos table, based on the Gemara we learned before Shabbos. The riddle is, where is it a mitzvah to eat nevela? A yid has a mitzvah to eat nevela and he's not sick. No pikuach nefesh. Where is there a mitzvah to eat nevela, to bite into a piece of nevela and eat it? It's a mitzvah d'oraisa, not a pikuach nefesh case.
It could be on one of the Shtieble. Maybe that's the only thing available. The mitzvah to eat basar on
Oh, so he's saying, yeah,
So
nevela, you should be able to eat nevela if you can't be mekayim the mitzvah. We need a source for that, doctor. We need a source. We need a makar for that. That's a big chiddush. But we're learning zvachim and menachos. What case? Where is there a case of a person who has a mitzvah d'oraisa to bite into an nevela and he's not sick? No pikuach nefesh.
A kohen who brought up onto the mizbeach and nevela, and now since he brought, he's mechayev to eat it.
Okay, you're very close. You're very close. I'm not sure if that's true.
What about
Olo yerdu means you have to leave it on the mizbeach. Nobody eats it. It's consumed.
What about Melika?
Oh, meaning it like, aha.
It's split up.
So you're saying somebody can eat it? It belongs in the mizbeach.
What about Melika?
Off malika. Chata sa'oif. Chata sa'oif is nechel kahanim, zichri kahuna. What do you do with the chata sa'oif? You don't shecht it. You decapitate it. When you decapitate it, it's nevela gamor. If you try to...
It's not an nevela, only the bismillah, but it's not.
You don't like that?
Because
No, but there's no din
the
nevela
whole
on it.
Malika is treifa.
That's right. It's a nevela. It's a nevela. It's a chiddush akra, and that's where kahanim can eat it. It's a mitzvah for them to eat it. Balim, your kahanim oichlin and balim eskaprin. Yeah, so it's an interesting case. That's the whole chiddush of malika.
Yeah, but there's
So it
no
doesn't
din,
qualify as
but
the
I
answer
think
to the
you're
riddle.
saying-
No, you don't like it.
It's okay.
I also don't like this.
Why?
In the basement, there's no din that this is nevela now. It's not nevela in the Beis Hamikdash. Outside the Beis Hamikdash, if you do that, it is nevela. But inside, the kohen is eating a nevela.
Aha, aha. Okay, beseder gamor. Okay, see, Yonatan is...
He's on my side.
He's on your side, yeah. Okay, beseder. All right. So that's an interesting one. Now, the Gemara is going to try to figure out a case. Where is it mutter to bring a treifa onto the mizbeach? Yeah? Says the Gemara, Mamish, take a look. Amar lachad Rashi, treifa shotem mechlal mai, ilema malika, the oilas ha'oif legavoya. Malika ba'olas is nevela. Nevela and treifa is the same, yeah? Gemara says, and it's mutter la'akrova. Perhaps that's why I need a pasuk to aser treifa, because you find somewhere in a certain case, in a very specific halacha, in a situation, where it's mutter to bring a treifa, a nevela, onto the mizbeach, balmum nami. Balmum also has a case where you're allowed to bring a behema, not a behema, a carbon balmum on the mizbeach. Where? Ba'oifis. A oif is an exception. These oifis have exceptions, you know, it's interesting. A different category. Ba'oifis is teruya ishterei, tamus v'zachrus. Unlike a oila, oilas behema needs to be a zachar. A oilas oif doesn't need to be a zachar. It can be in a keva. Oilas behema needs to be a tam. It can't have a mum. A oilas oif can be in a keva. It can have a mum. Right? Tamas v'zachrus is behema. Vein tamas v'zachrus be'oifis. So mamela, you can't tell me that the treif has a kula because of oif. Babam also has a kula by oif. So mamela, they're equal. So if I find a tzad hashava that a balmum and a yoytze doifen both have, where it's mutter lehedir asur legavoya, kal v'chayim treifa, which is asur lehedir, is asur legavoya. Why do you need a pasuk? El malika dechatas oif lakayhanim. This right here. Oh, Yonatan, this Gemara is not like you. Says the Gemara, you know where I find treifim is mutter, is hutru michlalan? Melika de chata sa'oif lakayhanim. Which means that you find hutru michlalan by treifim, where chata sa'oif is eaten by kehanim. Now, if you're right, then that wouldn't be true. The statement wouldn't be true, right? Because according to you, it's not treif, it's not nevela. Kach mitzvasa bekach. But Gemara doesn't understand it. The Gemara is saying no, it's treifim.
This is stretching the definition, though, because treif in the base of Mikdash is different than treif outside of the base of Mikdash. Treif has different criteria.
Meaning outside of Beis Mikdash, it's aser. It's aser legamri.
Totally also.
Yeah, and it's hutru michlalan when you bring it inside.
Treif, but
Correct.
Inside the base of Mikdash, you don't call this treif.
Oh, but the Gemara does call it treif. The Gemara is saying that treif is hutru michlala. If it's not treif, it's not hutru michlala. It's not treif.
Yeah, okay, I understand. So the Gemara is introducing that concept that you still call it treif.
Still call it a treif, and it's mutter. Yeah. Not just mutter, it's a mitzvah. That's the question. When is it a mitzvah to eat treifus and avelis? You're not sick. Chatas oif bakahanim.
There's two ways to say it. There's a way to say it that it's an avela, just it's mutter to have it in the Beis Hamikdash. It's an
Yeah,
avela,
that's right.
or that it's not an avela.
Correct.
In the Beis Hamikdash.
Right. So, question is, what is the Gemara?
Implying, though you do call it, you still call
Yes, yes. It's hutru mechlala.
It's mutter to do it in the Beis
Bidyok.
Hamikdash.
Bidyok. Now the Gemara, maybe that's the Gemara's kasha on what we just said. The Gemara says, Kahanim, mishulchen gevoya kazachu. What do you mean? This is, I think, what you guys said. Gemara doesn't like it. The Gemara says it's not treifa hutru mechlala. It's not a treifa. It's a carbon. It's kodesh. It's mishulchen gevoya kazachu. They're taking a piece of a kodesh, a piece of carbon. You can't call it. So in our conversation is the back and forth of the Gemara right here. It seems like the Gemara is saying
The Gemara is struggling with it.
we're struggling with it. Yeah. Says the Gemara of Ela Parachachi. I'll tell you what the Pirch and the Kavachaymer from Balmum is. Ma'alat tzad hashavah shebem shkeim mum and nikar.
כן, אבל אני מבין מה שאתה אומר, אבל הגמרא צריכה להבין שזה מציאות. כי יש מציאות אחת בכל דבר של חי, וזה לשחוט אותו.
Okay.
זה המציאות.
Okay.
עכשיו, זה שיש מליקה הותרה בבית המקדש, זה לא אומר שהמציאות של החיה היא שונה. עכשיו,
היא בכלל לא טרפה.
לא, היא טרפה.
In the Kodesh, what are you talking about? In the Azara, when you shech...
זה שזה מותר, זה
כן.
לא אומר שזה לא טרפה.
זה טרפה, אבל זה מותר.
מותר, זה
כן.
הכל.
ככה אנחנו...
Yeah, but
Right. We understood it that way, and the Gemara seemed to have understood it that way also. Then the Gemara rejects that. The Gemara says, no, kahanim is shulchan gevoya kazachu. It's not hutru mechlalan. It's already a carbon. They're taking a piece of a carbon. They're taking a piece of kodesh. אבל אני הבנתי כמו שהבנת, כן.
You know why? Because once you get to the Shulchan Aruch, it's like Aaron HaKohen when he's Oinan. He has certain halachos that he wouldn't have if he was not a Kohen Gadol or he wasn't in the base of Mikdash.
Correct.
So the standard rules are changed when you get closer to the Mizbech.
The closer you get to the Kedusha, the higher the Kedusha.
So you yotz miklala.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
I think that
Interesting.
that wavelength.
Yes. Yeah.
is being
I like it. Yeah, very good. In other words, the closer to Kodesh you are, you would think, okay, you think that the halachas and the mitzvahs we have is the Rebbe Shalom keeps the same mitzvah, so why should it be different? But yeah, that's what you're bringing out.
So I think that's
Very interesting.
the type of thinking that's going on.
Right. So the Gemara says, no, so I'll find the different pirchas of the Kavachaymer, right, from Balmum and Yotze Doifen. It could be it's different than Treifa, right, and that's why you need a pasuk by Treifa, because you couldn't learn it from Balmum and Yotze Doifen, because there's a very big chiluk. V'elo pirchachi, malat sarashava sheben, sheken mum and nikar. Toimer betreifa sheken ein mum and nikar, mishem hachi yitztrich kra. There's a difference between Balmum and Yotze Doifen versus Treifa. Balmum and Yotze Doifen is mum and nikar. Their mum is nicker. Now you ask yourself, one second, mum I know is mum and nicker. Yeah, you show your finger a second, that's nicker, right? What's a yotze doifen? It's mum and nicker. How's a mum and nicker? You know the behemoth was born as a C-section. You know that?
You
Can't. Take a look at Rashi. I'm murdig Rashi over here. Rashi says, balmum mum and nicker. The end of Rashi says, Rashi, v'yotze doifen mum and nicker, the islay kola v'hakol yoidim.
Wow.
Because everybody knows. When everybody knows, that's called a mum nikar.
I mean, that's the same thing by a regular mum.
Big chiddush. The Gemara says, Mal hatzad hashava sheben yoytze doifen and balmum is because it's mum and nicker. Where's the mum nicker by yoytze doifen? Says Rashi, islay kola v'hakol yoidim. That's mum and nicker. Do you want to be mishadich with a mishpacha where it's yoytze doifen and everybody knows? No, it's a mum nicker. You don't want to get involved, right? They ask you about shidduchim. You know, I told over by Eli Stefanski's Shabbos. I said, it was last week was Shmois. So I told them, I said that finishing Sefer Bereshis is the Sefer of Shidduchim. You have Shidduchim being made in Bereshis. So Bereshis, in the beginning, Noach, a fellow by the name of Noach, Lech Lecha was walking on the street, Vayeru, and he saw Chayasar, he saw a girl by the name of Chayasar. Don't ask me about Shmiras Einayim. Told us he wanted to find out whose child she is. Vayetze, called the Shatran, they went out, he liked the family. So a couple of dates, Vayishlach.
Yeah.
She sent him packing. In the end, he called the Shatran, Vayesher, he put them back together. Miketz, in the end, Vigash Vayechi. They got close and they lived happily ever after. So somebody said, I told you this?
No.
Somebody said they could do it by Dvarim also. Dvarim, when they start reading Shidduchim, Ve'eschanan, everybody starts davening. Oh, Hashem, I need a Shidduch. Then they suggest one family. Ekev, say, because of this, I don't want to get involved. Another family says, Re'eh, we'll see. A third family, Shoiftim, they judge you. Finally, Kiseitze. You go out on a date, Kisove, and they get married. So the rule of thumb is like this. Nitzavim, if everybody stands their ground, nobody gives in, Vayelech, he goes home and she goes home. Hazinu, if they listen to each other, then V'zoisa bracha. That's where the bracha is. To listen to each other. So... Anyway, point is, it's muma nikar. Comes to shidduchim, it's muma nikar. If it's islay kola v'akol yoidim, it's mum nikar. Okay. Mashenka treif, it's not.
Also, if someone has a woman in mishpacha, what's the food? The Gemara says they go to a faraway place.
Where nobody recognizes them, nobody knows.
They don't talk.
Very nice.
And that's how they were.
Beautiful.
They evaluated families in Bogo.
Yeah.
If there's no coal, they even though they may be a bagam,
Yeah.
but they keep their mouths closed.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
exactly like you say.
That's right. That's right. What did the Gemara in Yevamah say? There was a fellow who came to Rav. Oh, about a shidduch.
Yeah.
He had a mum nicker. Why? Because he was born from a certain marriage. I don't remember. It's like a memhei memvav and Yevamis. And Rav said, no, you're kosher. He says, nobody's going to want to marry me. Why don't you give me your daughter? He asked Rav for his daughter. He says, you're paskin that I'm a kosher. Hey, yeah. Anyway, so Rav said, so quickly. I don't have a... Okay, whatever. Shine. Haven't seen that Gemara in many, many years. But, okay.
What a shtuki is.
Huh? Shtuki? Here, thank you, Yonatan. Here, I have a... what's a shtuki? Yeah, shtuki is...
One who asks his parents.
What's a shtuki, doctor?
I think a child who doesn't recognize his parents.
No,
That's a shtuki?
no. Shtuki is a kid that they don't know who's his father, and his mother is silencing shtuki, שקט, בשוק. לא להגיד את השם של האבא. תסתכל, מסכת קידושין, מסכת קידושין נשמה, נו. עזרא עשה את בבל כסולת מנופה, נו? סולת, תביא לי קידושים.
Here we have it. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness, here it is. Daf Memhein Yevamis. Ahu das lakamei de Rav. There was a guy who came to Rav, very interesting. Amr le oived kechavim ve'eved al ba bas Yisrael. Mao. If a goy or an eved has a child with a bas Yisrael, Amr le havlad kosher. You're a kosher. Amr le havli bratach. Give me your daughter. If I'm a kosher, give me your brother. Says lo yehivna lach. I'm not giving you my daughter. Omar simi barchia Rav. Amri inchi. People say gamla b'madai akaba rakta. Yeah, a camel in madai dances on all four legs. In other words, people can't check whether that's true or not because it's in madai. It's far away. Ha kaba v'ha gamla v'ha madai v'loy rakta. You were matir a Vlad from a Ovid Kachav Malba Bas Yisrael, and you're not verifying it, and you don't want to give him your daughter. So your hero is like a guzma. Even if he's as great as Yeshua ben Nun, I'm not giving him my daughter. He said he would be able to get married. Nobody's going to take him as a son-in-law because you don't take him. So the Gemara says, this guy, he didn't want to leave Rav. He said, Rav was makbid on him, he died. But the point is, Rav didn't want to take him as a son-in-law.
But he still wants yichus.
Yeah? Yeah?
Just because he's kosher doesn't mean he has to marry his daughter.
Yeah? He didn't want to, whatchamacallit? He didn't want to do it. Yeah, interesting story. Okay. So the Gemara says, let's go weiter. Let's finish up. What are you at? You're looking for Gemara?
I think bet.
Is the Gemara, Reb Shol?
Dushin.
Al Shtuki. Shuki.
כתוב שעזרא עשה את בבל סולת נקייה, סולת מנופה.
אוקיי.
איפה זה היה? איזה גמרא? איזה דף זה היה? 70? עין?
Okay, while you look for it, if you don't mind, I'm going to finish the Mishnah quickly. Utreifim. You got it?
עין עמוד א', פותח דן, עמוד
No.
אמרתי לך שזה...
יש לנו תלמידי חכמים גדולים פה, נו.
הנה, אתה זוכר שהיה משהו... מה שאמרת עכשיו, הנה... עובד כוכבים ועבד הבעל בת ישראל, שאמרת עכשיו, אבל עד ממזר. אני למאן דאמר אבל ממזר, אלא למאן דאמר אבל עד כאשר. כמו שאמרת עכשיו, אבל עד כאשר, שאל את
רב,
נכון?
כן.
מעיק עליהם, ודו ממאי, לאבל בן דילמה, לאבל בתו ממאי דאחה, אז הוא אומר כאן, ואלה העולים מתלמך תל חרשה, כרוב אדון ואמר, ולא יכלו להגיד בית אבותם, כנעת הוא the father is, נכון? נכון? לא מיוחסים. וזרעם מישראל, ועם תל מלח, אלו בני אדם שדומים מעשיהם למעשה סדום, שנהפכה לתל מלח. תל חרשה, זה שקורא אבא ואמו, משתקו ונקרא שטוקי, זה השטוקי. אבא, אמא, שתוק, shut up.
Not to know where...
Don't say who your father is, we don't want, זה השטוקי.
Wow. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it reminds me of the Gemara in Baba Basra and Ches. Rebbeinu was Metzayin all the basic the Kvarim.
Yeah.
And a shaila came to him. I remember it in Baba Basra and on Zayin and Chesed at the end of Chesk Sabatim. And a shaila came to him.
Is that the one he found? He found a mace who came out of the kever.
Yeah, that was Rabbanah. That was one of the stories the Gemara says over there. Yeah, but a shaila came to him that a man overheard his wife say to one of her daughters that from all 10 children I have, only one of them is with your father.
As a real child. How did he know? He said, everybody go to the kever.
Clap on the kever. The
Only
real
one
child didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it. He says, you're the child. Yeah. Says, "Verstehst?" She said, be quiet. Don't tell anybody about, Stuki. They're all Stukis, as he figured out which one it is. Okay.
That's most relevant when it comes to genetic testing.
Yeah, remember we learned
That's a
that.
big difference.
Yeah. Right. Right, because they ask over there, why didn't they take a bone of the mace and dip it into the blood? Only the real child, the blood will get absorbed into the bone.
Yeah.
There's from Yehuda Chassid, there's a test, even back then.
Same blood type, maybe.
So maybe it wouldn't have worked. Yeah,
It's not foolproof.
it's not bulletproof.
Foolproof.
Foolproof. Bloodproof. Yeah. So Gemara says, "Treifa me'ocha nafka." The Gemara, treifa that's possible carbon is from mina bakar. Mehosam nafka me'mashki Yisrael. Mina mutter li Yisrael. You can only bring stuff to the mizbeach that you can have. A Yisrael can have it. Then you're magdash. You bring to the mizbeach. But something that's asur li Yisrael, you're not allowed to bring to the mizbeach. I already know from different pasuk. Also, b'koila sheyavor tachas hashavet nafka. I also know it from Meiser Behema. Meiser Behema, the way, one of the criteria is it has to be yavor. Prat l'treifa she'ena averis. Now, also an interesting Rashi here. What does it mean, prat l'treifa she'ena averis? A treifa is not averis. A treifa can walk. It is averis. Says Rashi, the last Rashi before the Mishnah of Vav Amud Aleph. Rashi says, but a treifa, mishum de'ein lo chiyus, lo choshev lo averis. Yeah, you're not an averis if you don't have chayus.
The Mishnah of Aves, a Mayim person that's already passed out.
Yeah.
The age of Mayo is like he's a walking mace.
You're a dead man walking. You're a dead man walking. You know where the term dead man walking comes from? From people who were waiting on death row 100 years ago. And when they were walking from their cell
Towards the gas chamber.
to the gallows, yeah? So that they termed that a dead man walking, yeah? So anyways, yeah, America, yeah, absolutely. 100 years ago it was, sure. Yeah. Correct. Dead man walking. A treifa is a dead animal walking. It's not called koila sheyavor tachas hashavet. A big side. That's the drasha. Tzrichi. Why do you need 3 psukim to my treifa? You have minabakar, you have mashke Yisrael, you have koila sheyavor tachas hashavet. Tzrichi. Even mashke Yisrael v'min l'mut eichad lo l'shasa kosher. If it just been mashke Yisrael, would have said, okay, maybe it was born a treifa. Dumi de arla klei kerem. That this is the way it grew. Aval hois l'shasa kosher. But maybe when it was born a kosher, and then it became a treifa after it was born. Maybe it's kosher l'karbon, says the Torah, another pasuk. Koila sheyaver, even if it has a shazer kosher, and then it became a treifa, it's also kosher l'karbon. Because rachmana koila sheyaver, I've been lemutech nitra for l'basofik disha. Don't be the meiser. I would have said maybe it's only when it became a treifa before you're makdashit. But aval disha l'basofik nitra, if it was born bekashrus and you're magdashit b'shas kashrus, and only after it become a treifa, how do I know it's also kosher l'karbon? The meina the agdasha v'chazia. That's for the 3 psukim, 3 different stages. Even if it was kosher b'shas leida, it was also kosher b'shas hakdasha, and it became a treifa all the way at the end, it's kosher l'karbon. Okay, now we start a Mishnah. Look, the Heilige Mishnah. Vav Amud Aleph on the bottom. Echad minchas chayta, ve'echad kol menachos shekamatzon zar. Ooh, what's up? Oh, you need a car? Yeah. Oh? Got it? Okay, yeah. I thought you were coming for the shiur. I got excited. He's going to pick a pizza. Echad minchas chayta ve'echad kol menachos shekamatzon zar. Einen. Tvol yoyim b'chusa begad b'chusa kapur b'shlei rochatz davar aglav. Oral tame yoshev oim l'gabe kelim l'gabe heim l'gabe raglav chaveiroi pasol. All these cases are puzzle. If the kohen does kmitza, sitting, oral, tummy, all this, it's puzzle. What about oimed? What about kamatz b'smol? Who's a lefty here? You're a lefty? I'm a lefty. I can never remember which hand is my right and which hand is my left until somebody gave me the following simon. I'm still, one second, which way is an L? I think this way, right? L, yeah. This is left. Good, I go my fingers.
Well, you've been doing it for decades. Well, you know which hand you create.
If somebody says make a left, like when I'm driving, I won't know which one is left unless I go like this.
You can't, every day you put on tefillin.
I put on my right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So it's a double
Right.
shiur.
Right, I used to put my tefillin on my left hand. Mazayda, my grandfather's Chassidish Yid, he said according to Rabbi Zal, even if you're a lefty, you should put on the left hand.
Yeah.
Then when I was 19 years old, Reb David Cohn from Flatbush, who knows Kol Terikula, he pulled me over and he said, start putting it on your right. You weren't Yotzet Tefillin. I was beside myself, but then since then I put it on my right hand. Yeah, Yad Keya. Yeah. When I was much, much younger, my father used to try, he hired somebody to try to teach me to become a righty. Like to write with my right hand. And I used to go to somebody and I would practice writing right, and it didn't work. Maybe I wasn't diligent enough.
They forced, in Europe, they forced them to become right-handed. There was this whole
Mamish?
stuff. Yes.
You're able to do that?
They were very unhappy with that Shah was left-handed. Very unhappy. In Europe too.
Yeah.
They weren't happy at anybody being left-handed.
Interesting.
Killed their child.
Mamish?
Or it's not like that.
But it was very unhappy.
China. Kamatz b'smol. So a guy took his left hand and he did kmitza with the left hand. Puzzle. It's puzzle. The whole mincha is puzzle. But Rabbi Beseira says, Yachzir v'yachzor v'yikmoitz bimin. Put the kmitza back into the kli that you took it from, and then do it again. Meaning you undo it. Remember the Rav Polam, the Ben Ish Chai, has a shayla on Shabbos. If somebody takes psoilus from Eichel, he does a malacha, boirer. So there's a shayla, could he put it quickly back into the salad and then do it the proper way? Yeah. Could he repair it by putting it quickly back in? That's really what Beseira is saying. Put the kmitza that you took out with your left hand, put it back in, and then do it again with your right hand. There's a whole back and forth. I don't remember the tshuva, but what happens if a kohen does kmitza and part of the soilus had, I guess, a little pebble, a garger melach, or a shtickle salt, a grain of salt, a korcha levoina, right? And you had a little bit of the levoina there, puzzle. If you took more or less, it's puzzle. What's more? What does kamatzah mevoyretz mean? Let's say this is the kmitza, right? So you have so much soilus that you took out of the kli, that you have a chatzitza between your fingertips and your palm. It's like mevoyretz. That's mevoyretz.
So he calls it heaped.
Heaped. Too much. You have to be balanced. V'chaser. And what's chaser? Shekamatze b'roshetz bois. You went like this. You went like this. Instead of going like this, you went like this. So you're holding mamish b'roshetz bois right here. That's also no good. You have to be just right. Yeah, comfortable. Abeinani. Says the Gemara, why is it single out minchas choyta? List the kol menachos shekmatzen zarva einen. Say kol menachos includes minchas choyta. No, I need it for Reb Shimon. I'm Tanya, I'm Reb Shimon. Bedinu shtei minchas choyta tu neshem and levayna. We said already earlier, there are two menachos. Out of all the menachos, there are two menachos that don't have shemen or levayna. That the mamish, it's dry as dry can be. It's called a minchas chareva, which is minchas choyta and minchas knois, minchas soita. So minchas choyta, menachos, right? How many averos could you bring a mincha for? 3 averos you can bring a minchas choyta for. Which 3 averos? 3 averos that the Torah allows you to bring a carbon oil of a yored. Carbon oil of a yored is based on your financial ability. Which 3 averos are them? They're tumas mikdash v'kedashav, shvuas bitu, and shvuas ha'edus. So those 3, you bring a mincha, but it doesn't have shemen or levayna. Now, Reb Shimon says, really, if you don't require the choyta to bring shemen or levayna, then he saves money. Shlo yechoyta niskar. What are you going to benefit? Give the choyta an advantage? So l'chayri, he should bring shemen. He should put it, he should spend more money in it. So mepnei ma'ina te'una. Why taka doesn't he bring it? Shlei karbona mehuder. His carbon shouldn't be mehuder. We don't want it to be too fancy. Ubedinu shtichatas chaylev te'una nesachim. Chatas chaylev also. You bring a carbon.
But what about a wealthy man?
Huh?
What about a wealthy man?
What about a wealthy man? He brings a carbon. He brings a behema. Behema is the same for everything. You can't do it any other way. By a mincha.
Mincha is also mincha is generally.
Give me an example. What are you going to deduct? What are you going to deduct from a behema? What are you going to remove? Which ingredient are you going to move?
You're going to make him bring a chicken.
Right. So if you're middle class, you bring a chicken. If you're upper class, you bring a behema. That's carbon oil of a yard, depending on your financial ability. But a chicken, if you bring a chicken, there's no other way to bring a chicken than bringing the chicken. Bringing a behema upper class, you bring a behema, right? But if you're bringing a mincha, there's leeway. Yeah, how do you bring the mincha? How well do you bake it? How many ingredients do you put in? I'm just saying it's afshir by the other ones. It could be by the other ones. If it would have been afshir, maybe it would have downgraded.
Nicer behema and
Oh, you mean okay? I see what you're saying.
you have to bring a bull.
Don't
You have to bring a $4,000 bull. You have to bring a $3,000.
I see what you're saying.
So there's, by every mitzvah, there's Indian say Kelev Angrehu.
No, but he's saying over here, we don't want you to put shemen because like karbonim mahuder.
But there's no leeway over there by the behema. You don't have this.
But he's a chayta, so maybe by a chayta we don't want. A guy brings, because over here lamashal chatas chaylev. A guy eats chaylev b'shaygig. Usually by every chatas you bring nesachim.
Yeah.
No, so every carbon oil and shlama. By chatas you don't. Why? Because we don't want his carbon to be mahuder, so we don't bring nesachim. Don't bring libations. Don't add stuff that are not essential to the carbon. So by a mincha, shemen and levine is not essential. So we're not going to have you add it. We don't want you to bring this carbon chayta.
But
An animal is an animal. I hear. An animal is an animal. Ich weiß nicht. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Nesachim goes to the mizbeach. It doesn't go to a human being.
Now I understand, but who brings the nesachim? The person who brings the carbon. Sometimes every carbon has nesachim. Come with nesachim. So we don't want somebody who brings a chatas to bring nesachim. If you bring an oila, a neder, nadava, shlamim, bring nesachim, no problem. But to bring nesachim, like to bring with all the pomp and the bells and the whistles, you're a chayta. Come humbly, come simply. Chatasi, give your carbon and leave. It's embarrassing. We're going to bring you, hey, gavaldik. Yeah, bring this. You're a chayta. Slow down. Go low key. Yeah? That's what the Gemara is saying. So the minchas chayta does not have shemen. The chatas chaylev, a regular, chatas chaylev is just an example. It means even a stam chatas, right?
You're saying that if he brings the nicest animal also, everyone's going to be like, oh, what's the nice of this nicest animal? Brings the regular animal.
Yeah.
I know he knows.
You're saying we should also downgrade the animals. What kind of car? Don't bring a Jaguar. Don't bring a Rolls Royce. Bring the. What car? I don't know what cars everybody has here, but what kind of car is it? Jalopy.
Tesla.
All right. Tesla. I used to drive an old Toyota Camry, 2011.
I still do.
And do you love that?
It's beautiful.
It's the best.
2011,
Yeah, the best.
no problem.
Right?
Live behind her.
The biggest mistake was I sold that car. I had it till a couple of years ago. My daughter used to drive it. She went to seminary. Then that was it. I sold it. I didn't want to pay more. And now my sons have license. And I'm like, where's that? I used to love driving that car. I loved it. Yeah? The new Lexuses, the Teslas doesn't talk to me. I want an old car. The way they used to make the old cars. I don't want to get a whole, whatchamacallit.
I spoke to a car dealer. He says there's no difference between the old and new except the external of the bells and whistles. But
The essentials are the same.
essential mode is.
But like, have you ever seen a car from the 70s? The real,
no, that's those the oldies and goodies.
the goodies. They're made from real metal. Yeah, the bumpers are plastic.
Here everything's
Achshava
plastic.
bumpers are plastic. They're
You
not.
go by Ronnie's auto shop, you see all these cars, you see the plastic. You see the plastic.
You see the plastic. Yeah. It's all commercialized. It's all
It's all superficial.
it's China. Yeah. So anyway, Kitzur Amai say, yeah. So you don't want to bring a carbon mahuder. How far do you go with, we don't want your carbon to be mahadrim and a mahadrim? Maybe a apostle should be able to do the kmitza also, because it's a carbon chayta. I'll have a apostle do it. Do it with your left hand. Who cares? How far? How much of a downgrade? Yeah. So Gemara says, according to Reb Shimon, I would have thought, all these psulim. Okay, beseder. It's a minchas chayta. For that reason, the Mishnah says minchas chayta in kol menachos. Singles out minchas chayta. Don't do this with a minchas chayta. Right? That's why you have to single it out. Yachi asks the Gemara, Hasam Nami, listening, why only by Menachos, by Zvachim also? Mishnah Zvachim, Echad Chatas Chelav, Echad Kol Zvachim Shekiblu, Daman Zar V'Oinen. You have a label of Reb Shimon Etzrich. Yeah, also over there, we should need according to Reb Shimon. Alma Kivin the Tanah Lekov Lektana Chutz, Kula Mashma. Chanami, Kivin the Tanah Kov Lektana Chutz, Kula Mashma. Just like over there by Chatas Chelav, by Chatas. It says, Kol Zvachim. So it says, it doesn't say Chatas Chelav separately, but it should say by Chatas Chelav, and the Mishnah Zvachim also Chatas Chelav separately, because according to Reb Shimon, I would have thought you can downgrade it all the way. So the Gemara says, Itztrach. Over here by Menachos, I needed especially to single out Minchas Chayta. Sefer Namad like Reb Shimon, Kamash Malan. Because over here, the ratio, we already said, is the like Reb Shimon. Why? Because the ratio says, the first Mishnah in the Masechta says that, Loy alu l'baylim l'shem chayver. Reb Shimon says alu l'baylim l'shem chayver. So the first Mishnah is not Reb Shimon. I would have thought this is also not Reb Shimon. According to Reb Shimon, all these would be kosher. Okay. Zug the Gemara weiter. Omar Rav. Yeah? Omar Rav. Zor shekomatz yachzir. A zor who did kmitza. Now it's interesting because we said kmitza is parallel to shchita. A shchita is ksheira bizarre. But kmitza, ksheira bizarre, yeah. Shchita is not an avoida. It's not considered an avoida. Zor could shecht his own animal.
Because kmitza is removal, like shchita is removal.
Okay.
When you shecht the behemah, you remove the head from the body.
Uh-huh.
Kmitza, you remove this piece from the rest of the member. And that's going to be makrev.
Uh-huh. So yeah, that's why it's parallel, you're saying.
Parallel, yeah.
But still, the halacha of zor is different. Amar Rav, zor comes. The truth is, it's the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, zor shekam, that's his puzzle. Rav says yachzir. Put it back and let a kohen do it. V'anan pasal tanan. The Mishnah says, b'das chachamim, it's puzzle. Gemara says, my puzzle ache yachzir. The puzzle of the Mishnah means it's puzzle until you put it back and the kohen does it again. Iyachi haina ben b'seira. Isn't this ben b'seira? Ben b'seira says by small. You can do it again. L'chayro, this is ben b'seira. Gemara says, idis l'kaymitz be'en elay pliga rabban elay ben b'seira. If the kaymitz is be'en, then Rabbanan don't argue ben b'seira. You could put it back and a kohen do it. Keep pliga the chaser kaymitz. Kaymitz is chaser. Rabbanan savri lo yavi metich beisavim alenu. You can't bring from your house more soilus, fill it up, and then do it again. Ben b'seira savar yavi metich beisavim alenu. Interesting. Ben b'seira says, even if the kaymitz that the zar took out got lost, you can refill it. Very interesting. You can refill it. It's like a yain pogum, right? If you make kiddush and somebody drinks a little bit of the kais, it's called kais pogum. Yeah, you can't make kiddush on it. All you got to do is take from the bottle, refill it, and then it's kosher l'kiddush. So over here also, when Beseira says, if a zar did kamitza, he took a little bit out, it's possible. So what do? Bring more soilus. If that soilus got lost, bring more from your house and refill it, and it's not a problem.
Someone takes a little bit of that it's on a full piece of bread.
If somebody takes a little bit of chalalech mishnah,
It's not a full loaf.
yeah, it's not a full loaf. So what do?
It's
Not a
You
shalom.
put another full loaf.
Yeah. So you have to bring another full loaf. You know, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, yeah.
There's an amount of what's considered chaser. I think it's 148, because we have this halacha by matzah especially.
Matzah. Yeah.
That's when it comes up frequently.
Yeah.
So I think it's 148 that can still be chaser and it's still considered shalom.
Wow.
There's
148 is
148 is a drasha.
Lo yadati. Wow. That's interesting. Shlomo Zalman, they asked him, all the matzahs come shvurim, you know? Even when you buy shleimim and you pay extra money from the matzah bakery, they still come shvurim. So he said, he has a tzad, Erev Pesach, if you see all your matzahs are shvurim, take a lighter, and go around the shaver part and burn off the edges, and that'll make it into a shaver. He has a tzad like that. It's tzad in the place, you can make it a shaver.
Get a pita Sfaradi and no problem.
Chometz!
I know what that means.
Oh my goodness. Teimani, no? Sfar...
אתה יודע איזה טעים זה?
Then you get no stomach issues.
אתה יודע איזה טעים זה?
Mamish, real pita?
אני אומר לך,
Lafa, mamash lafa on Pesach?
אתה לא יודע איזה טעים זה.
It's a regular lafa with shawarma. Shawarma lafa.
אתה לא יודע איזה טעים זה.
Why? קשה להאמין שזה כשר לפסח. Why?
You want to see a video how they make it? It's under 5 minutes.
It's Sephardim, yeah. Even my wife, who's Sephardi, didn't grow up in a house with lafot. Yeah, okay. I think it's a certain type of Sephardi. Teimanim or yeah, Irakim. There you go.
All they have is rice. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
What rice?
Okay.
My wife only had rice and
If we don't have rice, we מבטל בכלל.
Rabbi Miller told me I cannot eat at their table if I stayed the Dalit Amos away.
Really?
Pesach. Asked me if I could go to the Seder.
Yeah. What do you say?
He told me I should eat Dalit Amos away.
If you tell my family not to eat rice on Pesach, they מבטל בכלל.
They take an hour to inspect the rice.
Unbelievable. Okay. Gemara says, so 1 second. If Ben Beseira is talking about going home and refilling it, Yachi, Ben Beseira miyachzer v'yachzer v'yikmetz b'yimin, Ben Beseira miyachzer v'yovi b'tuch beisim, v'lan v'yachzer v'yikmetz b'yimin b'boyle. So Ben Beseira should be very, very clear in what he's saying, that he can go back home and refill. So the Gemara says, a different mahalach in Rav. Kika amar Rav, le Ben Beseira, Rav said it in Ben Beseira. He didn't say it in Chacham. Rav said that a zor shekomatz should put it back and then I let a kohen do it. He didn't go with das chacham. He said it b'beseira. What is pshita? B'beseira says by small. Why should it be a difference? Because my time I can look back to b'beseira elo b'small. Al b'shar psulin, when a zar does it, maybe b'beseira didn't allow you to repair it like that. Loy kamash malan. Gemara says 1 second. Ma'ishna small. Why small dafka? Why would there be a havamina? B'beseira is only machshir by small. Says the Gemara. You know why small is different? The ashkechal achsheira b'yom kippurim. Yom Kippur was the only time the kohen used his left hand to the avodah. Why? Because he had to come into the Kodesh HaKadoshim with the coals in one hand, the machta, and the kaf with the spices of the ketores in the other hand. So you needed both. So there you see that b'shas avodas kohen gadol b'yom kippurim, you're able to use the left hand. So I would have thought
How does he use that?
He has no choice.
he has no choice. He's saying ain't done an F Shemei Efsher, that's what you're saying. Okay, so Ben Beseira says, once I find in one place where there was a heter for the Kohen Gadol to use his left hand, so maybe here, when a Kohen uses his left hand for the Kmitza, he could still repair it and do it again. You see, smile is not so bad.
But also, you could maybe it's different by the avodah from Kippurim because that's like the biggest and most chashuv and most chomer avodah of all the avodas.
So I would think
So that's why,
that would be the opposite.
yeah, that's where we learned that small is not so bad. If it works by Yom Kippur,
Even though it's Efshar, that's to his
that's you're answering the doctor's question.
Even though since
It's so holy.
chomer, you would find
איזה למדן הוא, רב שול, אתה שומע את הבן שלך פה?
מה הוא אמר?
זה למדן, אה?
Like father,
Like father,
like son.
like son. איזה למדן יש לנו פה. Okay. So Gemara says, Zor nami ashkal achshera. Zor also there is not so bad. Zor nami ashkal achshera b'shchita. A zor can shecht, a carbon. So why should zor be in a different category than small? You're telling me small ben b'seira allows you to repair it by putting it back and have a kohen do it properly, or the kohen do it biyamin because it has a hechsher in Yom Kippur. Zor also should be allowed to repair b'pashtos because it has a hechsher by shchita. Gemara says, no, shchita lav avoida. You can't prove anything from shchita. Shchita is not considered an avoida. Gemara says, v'loi? It's not an avodah. V'amar Reb Zeir Amar Rav. Rav himself. Shchitas para aduma. The shchita of the para aduma, bizar, psula. You're not allowed, a zar, it's an exception by para aduma. You're not a shech the para aduma. V'amar Rav Allah, how do we know that? Because by the parasha para aduma it says, Elazar v'chuka ksivba. It says Elazar was the Kohen Gadol at the time, right? And the Satan Moshe Elazar Kohen. V'chuka, it's a chayik. Zois chuka is a Torah. By para aduma it says chayik, which means that only a Kohen could do it and not a zar. So you see that that you need kohen. A zar is puzzle. I mean, it's considered an avoida. Excuse me, it's considered an avoida where you need a kohen. Whereas a shani para the kacheh bet the kabayasi. Para aduma is different because it's kacheh bet the kabayas and not kacheh mizbeach. So that's why it has a Torah's avoida. Interesting. The Gemara has a havamina that kacheh bet the kabayas, para aduma which belongs to bet the kabayas. It's not kacheh mizbeach. It never goes onto the mizbeach. It gets burnt, right? And you use the ashes. So because it's kacheh bet the kabayas, it has the term, the shchita is considered an avoida, and you need a kohen for that. But kacheh mizbeach not. What is it? V'lav kol shkenu. Kacheh bet the kabayas by kahuna. Kacheh mizbeach loy by kahuna. Kacheh mizbeach is a higher status, a higher level of kedusha because it's going onto the mizbeach. So if you need by kacheh bet the kabayas, which is para aduma kohen, certainly you need by kacheh mizbeach. Rav Shibra Ravidi midad have a maras negoyim. No, it's not so schwer. Why? Because maras negoyim you find a similar concept, right? When a kohen checks for tzaras, yeah, you need a kohen dafka. And this checking is lav avoida nenu. It's not an avoida for a kohen to take a look at a nega. A boy kahuna, it needs a kohen, right? And so you see that even when it's not an avoida, it does need a kohen. So it could be that paraduma is not an avoida, and it needs a kohen anyway. Finished. So you can't really reject the notion of why zar is different than small. Just like small is a hechsher b'Yom Kippur, zar is a hechsher b'shchita, right? And so zar is a hechsher b'shchita. Teretz is shchita lav avoida. Shchita is not an avoida. Paradum is a chayk, yeah. Okay, let's finish up this amud over here to the end. Gemara says so. Okay, Nachamol. So Ben Beseira says by small you can fix, put it back and take it be a min. Zar is not so pashut you can fix if a zar did kamitza. And that Rav says Ben Beseira holds even zar you can repair. Let the zar put it back and then a kohen does it. Okay. So Gemara says, why is zar a bigger chiddush than small? Small is a hechsher b'Yom Kippur, zar is a hechsher b'shchita. Gemara says shchita is not an avoida. Gemara says, but still, v'neiluf mibama. Zar has a different hechsher. It's not I don't need Rav to tell me zar is equivalent to small, that just like small you could repair, zar you could also repair. I know it misvara. Why? Because zar is a hechsher by a bama. Right? We know, by heter bamas, the Mishnah said earlier in Zvachim, that it's kosher bazar. You don't need kahuna. We said it by the Siyum today.
You don't need a kohen.
No, you don't need a kohen. So Mamela, just like small, you have a hechsher by Yom Kippur. That's where you could repair it. Zar also has a hechsher by bamas, and that's why you could repair it also. How do I know kachem mizbeach that you took out of the azara, that you can't put it onto the mizbeach? But if you put it on lo yered, shar yoytze kasher b'bama, because yoytze is kasher b'bama. So when you see that there's a kula by bama, there's also a kula even when it relates to the mizbeach. Where it says Tana Zois Teiras Oila Samech really we learned that from Zois Teiras Oila. Yeah, Torah Achas L'Chala Oilam. So it's not because of a heter bamas. So you can't use that as a svara. Elataima da Ashmein and Rav. Gemara asks, so I need Rav to tell me that zar could be repaired. Halavach Avamina B'Shar Psul and Puzzle Ben Beseira. Otherwise, I would have thought Ben Beseira is only machshir the ticket by small, but not any other psul. V'otanya, in fact, the Gemara Rabbi Yoel Gold, Rabbi Shem Machshiroi Ben Beseira b'chala psulin kulan mafurish abraisa, where Ben Beseira applies this halacha of small to all psulin. Any psul by kmitza that could be repaired, you just put it back and repair it and do it properly. It says mafurish. I need rafet. V'tanya, another brayse it says v'kamatz misham. Misham. What's misham? Mimokam sheraglei azar aimdais. Yeah, from where the zar is allowed to stand. The zar is not allowed to enter the tzafin side of the azara, right? So,
You're not allowed to enter the azara.
well, a part of the azara he is, part of the azara is not. There's certain,
Limited.
right? The first 11 amas is called Ezras Yisrael, and
It's the Ezra's Kohanim.
then there's the Ezras Kahanim, yeah.
That's what the Bezayin Udalef?
Vav Mad Beis toward the bottom. Yeah. So we know kachim kachim has to go to the tzafon side of the mizbeach, which is an area that zarim can't step into. So I would have thought Menachos is also kachim kachim. So maybe you have to do the kmitza over there. So the pasuk says, no, you don't have to do kmitza from the tzafon side. You can do it from the area where zarim Yisraelim are allowed to be in. V'kamatz misham, mimokim sheragle hazar oimdos. You don't have to kmitza, although it's kachim kachim the mincha. You don't have to kmitza from there, like the karbanos. You could do it from Ezras Yisrael. Ben b'seira oimer minayin shem kamatz b'smal sheyachzer v'yachzer v'ikmatz b'yamin tamad loimer v'kamatz misham. Mimokim shekamatz kvar. He darshans the misham for a different drasha. He says, do the kmitza again. Misham, from where it was done before, do it again. The cross tamak sivba mali smala mali shar psulin. The misham is stama. It doesn't just say dafka by a psul of small. Any psul. Misham means put it back and take it again. So I don't need Rav to tell me that in das ben Peseira. Hello kamashmal and Rav. So what's Rav's chiddush? That by the other psulim you could also repair it according to Ben Peseira. So Rav's chiddush is, listen to this, komatz v'afilu kiddush. Rav takes it a step further. It's not just that there was a psul in the kmitza. Even if you took it to the next step, you did the kmitza. Let's say a zar does the kmitza, and then the zar puts it into the klisharis, which is the next step of the avodah. So maybe I would have thought that's the point of no return. You can't repair it at that point. So Rav, no, even if it's kamatz v'afilu kiddush, Ben Peseira holds yachzor v'yachzir, and then the kohen can do it again. That's a big chiddush. Lafukim hanit tanoi. It's not so poshut. Rav is choyluk on these tanoim. The Tanya, Rabbi Yossi ben Yasyan, Rabbi Yehuda hanachtoim. Amru, I love this. Rabbi Yehuda hanachtoim, Rabbi Yehuda the baker, a Tana. Yeah, he had a job. B'med devarim amurim. When does Ben Peseira allow you to repair the mincha? If it was done b'psul, the kmitza was done b'psul, that's only if it's loy kiddush, you didn't put in a klisharis. Aval kiddush, but if you were mekadosh and you put it to klisharis, pasal, even Ben Peseira agrees too late. Says Rav, nishtazoi. Rav says even if you put in a klisharis, you could repair it according to Ben Peseira. The ikadamri kametz en kiddush loy, kaman. Rav says kiddush loy. That's Rav is coming to emphasize only if it's kmitza, not kiddush. Kaman kahani tanoi lefukim tanakama. Okay, that's not like the Tanakama who argues even on that. So it's a question what Rav was coming to tell us. But that's Ben Peseira. Either Rav is choyluk on the tanoim that say kiddush loy, he says even kiddush, and he says, and another tana is like another ikadamri is that it's dafka if it was loy kiddush. Two more lines. Maskeflar of Nachman, Maika Savri Hani Tanoi. I don't understand. What are these Tanoim all? These Tanoim say only if the Kmitza was done b'psul, if the Kmitza is done b'psul, and you didn't put in a Kli, if it's a Gvoid, Afakav Lav Lamat Kli. Even if it didn't put in a Kli, Sharis, it should be puzzle, because the Kmitza itself is Avoida. So what's the difference if you put in a Kli Sharis afterwards or not? Ik Kmitza Psul Lav Avoida, Kiyav Lamat Kli, my Hava. It's not an Avoida, so there's never a Kmitza, so who cares if you put in a Matan Kli? So catch 22. Adam Menachos lo'olam avoidi v'loy gamra avidosa ad the ovid law matan kli. It's never it doesn't finish until it's a half of avoida, I guess. It's hanging in the balance.
The finale of the first avoda, it has to be in the clay.
Yeah.
Until the
Kmitza gets into the clear sharis, it's not considered
the end of the kmitza.
It's not considered even that's chas avoda.
That's right. One second. No, here the Gemara wants to say that it's avoida, but it's like gomra avidas until you put it into klisharis, which means that what? It's a half of avoida. The kmitza is a half of avoida.
No, it has.
The actual
It's not avoda shalem.
It's not avoida shlema, right? So it's
not as cholas of in order to get from taking the kmitza and getting into the bowl, of course, picking up the kmitza is already starting the way to get to the avodah, but you didn't get to the actual avodah yet.
aha.
You're starting the path to get there, but you didn't get there yet.
So is that a shem avoida or not? Does this have a shem avoida or not? That's the question.
Well,
Does the kmitza itself have a shem avoida?
Well, the only way to get
So it's a hechsher for the avodah.
For the.
It's a hechsher for avodah. Hechsher mitzvah. Hechsher. It has a different level. It's a hechsher avodah.
When it comes to avodah, I don't know whether you say that rule.
When it comes to avodah, kachim is different.
Avodah, each one is a specific unit. Because you call it arba avodas, you give it a number.
Aha.
So the shchita, kabbalah, halacha,
Yeah.
zrika, each one is a unit.
Yeah. So again, so what we're saying is that only if, let's say, the zar, or you did a besmol, a kohen did it with his left hand, only if the psul happened and you didn't put it into a klisharis. But once you put it into a klisharis, that's the gemara avoida, and you reach the point of no return. You can't repair it anymore, even according to Membesera. That's the second lashon in Rav. That's mamish, that you mamish start. That's the avoida, and if the avoida was complete, if it's a self-contained avoida, then that's the gemara. Yeah, it's a soif avoida. Right. They're putting it into klisharis. So here's the question. The question is, if you take kmitza, and you put it into a klisharis, then that's the gemara avoida. Now you reach the point of no return. You can't repair it anymore. So what does Membesera advise? Membesera advises, put it back into the kli you took it from, and do it right. Right? Do it right. 1 second. Once you put it back into the same kli, you already put the kmitza into a klisharis.
You can't do it again. Once you did
Again, if you put it into a different klisharis, then it's gemara avoida. You can't repair it. But what does Membesera advise? So don't put it into different klisharis. Put it back where you took it from, and start over. Do it properly.
That's putting it from this different klishas to another klishas.
Yes, but the Gemara says if you put it in a klisharis, it's gemara avoida. So what do? Yachzir, put it back into the original klisharis where you took it from.
From the new one.
But if you put it back in the original klisharis, then it's gemara avoida. You put it into a klisharis.
did the gemara avodas? That avodah is already finished in the story.
Which avoida is finished?
The kmitza. The kmitza is already done.
So at which point does Membesera say you could still repair?
Well, that's the question. It must be before
He put it into the klisharis.
you put in klisharis.
Okay, so what does Membesera do? What's his lashon? His lashon is, if you didn't put it into klisharis yet, right, you're holding it in your left hand.
Yes.
So what should you do with it?
Then you put it back.
Where?
Back into the source of the Menachos.
Yeah. Which is what?
Which means you.
Which is what? The klish is a klisharis.
No, what's the klisharis of the Menachos, the original Menachos?
But who cares which klisharis you're putting it into? That's the Gemara's next kasha. What are you going to do? You're going to put it back into the original klisharis. That's a klisharis too.
No,
You
but
put it into
the Gemara-
klisharis.
The Gemara kmitza is when you put it
In the second klisharis. Okay, so let's just see this shtickle. Gemara says, "Yochafilu loikidesh." Even if you didn't put it to the second klisharis, the chimehadir lekoimitz laduchte. Top line Zayin Amud Aleph. The chimehadir lekoimitz laduchte. Take the shveliv soil. Even if you put it back into the original klisharis, you put it in a klisharis. It doesn't matter which klisharis you put it into. If you put it back, you're also putting it into klisharis. Take the shveliv soil.
So you don't need even a second clip.
Yeah, because you put it back. This also has a din of klisharis. You know what I learned from this? Klisharis ein mekatchen elo midas. You have to want it to be kaddish when you put it into klisharis. So when you're trying to put it back, you don't want it to be discarded. You're trying to get back to square one. You don't want it to be discarded in klisharis. If you're already finished, in other words, you put in a second klisharis, your das is for it to be discarded in klisharis. But if you're putting that in the same, that's not midas because you don't want it to be. You don't want it to be kaddish yet. So the Gemara says, "Midas mekatchen." What do you mean? So midas is mekadish. That's a shaila. Rish Lakish asked Rabbi Yochanan, "Klisharis mao sheikachu psulin lekatchila likarev." Right? Can a klisharis be mekadish a pasal akaimitz? Let's say a kmitza of a zar, and then he puts it into a klisharis. Is the klisharis mekadish that kmitza for aktara? Ve'amar le ein mekatchen. It's not mekadish. So the Gemara asks, you see that even midas, if it's possible, it's not so pashut that the second klisharis is mekadosh it. Gemara says, no, ein mekatchen lekarev. He meant that you can't do aktara. Aval mekatchen lepasel. Enough kodesh is it that it should become pasel legamre, and you can't repair it anymore. It's done, skis. You're done with it. Okay.
On what we said, on the das.
Yeah.
So let's say a person has a bachar, and he's not in his house. The bachar that